Welcome to the Secret History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. In 1967, residents of Hanoi, North Vietnam, were photographed waiting in shelters built on sidewalks where the water reached chest height during an air raid alert. In 1986, a photograph captured the intense activity of people at the Serra Pelada gold mine in the state of Pará, Brazil. Thousands of workers were digging into the ground in search of gold using simple tools and manual techniques. In May 1976, Jocelyn Kaweri, age 20 and a member of the Maronite Christian community, was photographed guarding a building in Beirut, the capital of Lebanon. In 1942, during a period of major operations in the Asia region, airborne landing operations were recorded near Palembang on the island of Sumatra. This photograph shows a group of Japanese soldiers on bicycles advancing down a street with buildings in the background. The image was captured during a military movement in Asia at a time marked by significant historical events in the region. In 1945, as Soviet troops approached Berlin, city residents did their best to care for the animals at the Berlin Zoo. In 1945, members of Easy Company, part of the 2nd Battalion of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment of the 101st Airborne Division of the United States, were photographed at the site known as Eagle's Nest in the Bavarian Alps. In 1943, American General George S. Patton was photographed during an official operation in North Africa. He was in the region as part of strategic actions organized by international forces, focusing on mobilization, transport, and unit coordination. In 1942, members of the crew of a Boeing B-17 from the United States Army Air Forces were photographed at the Polebrook Air Base in England. On July 4, 1944, United States nurses were photographed walking along a beach in Normandy, France. They were part of medical teams providing support to personnel in operational areas, offering essential care under challenging conditions. On June 9, 1944, some men were photographed in the Normandy region of France, taking a meal break with rations provided by international teams. In 1939, the city of St. Louis in the United States was photographed during a period of severe air pollution known as urban fog or smog. The haze resulted from intense coal burning for heating and industrial use, common in major cities of the era. In 1938, Henry Ford, founder of the American car company Ford Motor Company, was awarded the German Eagle Cross. Brigitte Hitler, wife of Alois, Adolf Hitler's half-brother, was photographed saying goodbye to her son William Patrick Hitler in front of the Hotel Astor in New York City. In 1939, during the Great Depression, an unemployed worker was photographed showing a tattoo of his Social Security number. That period was marked by economic hardships and high unemployment rates in the United States. In 1989, in the then Soviet Federative Socialist Republic of Russia, 3 flags were raised side by side, those of McDonald's, the city of Moscow, and the Soviet Union. The image is considered a rare record of same-gender companionship at a time when such expressions were rarely documented publicly. This is the last photograph of all the members of the Beatles together, taken in 1969. The image was shot outside the recording studio where the group was completing their musical projects. In 1969, the Woodstock Music Festival was held in rural New York, United States. Organizers expected around 50,000 attendees. However, the crowd exceeded all expectations, reaching over 400,000 participants. Robert Wadlow, born in 1918, was the tallest person ever recorded at 8 feet 11 inches. In this photograph taken when he was 13 years old, Robert stands next to his father. In 1890, in Stockholm, Sweden, the Stockholm telephone tower was documented connecting about 5,500 telephone lines. The structure was built to support the wires carrying communication to different parts of the city before underground cables were used. Around the late 1800s, tourists and their guides were photographed climbing the stones of one of Egypt's pyramids. At that time, visiting the pyramids was a popular activity among foreign travelers. The interior of the Oldsmobile Inca's concept model, unveiled in 1986, was designed to showcase what future cars might look like. Featuring a digital dashboard, a yoke-style steering wheel, and advanced electronic controls for the time, the vehicle had an aircraft-inspired appearance. On October 21, 1967, during a protest in front of the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, United States, a demonstrator was photographed offering a flower to members of the military police. In 1982, engineers and architects worked on technical designs using hand tools, before software like AutoCAD became popular. Two fishermen were photographed knitting their winter wool garments in Ramsgate, Kent, England, during the 1940s. In 1920, a group of immigrants was photographed celebrating their first Christmas dinner in the United States after arriving via Ellis Island in New York. The meal took place in one of the halls of the reception center, where thousands passed through as they began a new life in the country. In 1900, the graduating class of the Howard University School of Law was photographed in Washington, the capital of the United States. Howard University is a higher education institution founded in 1867. In 1958, Robert Oppenheimer was photographed visiting the Acropolis of Athens, Greece. Known for his role in major 20th century scientific projects, he toured the historic site that houses structures such as the Parthenon. In 1971, the Chevrolet Vega model was photographed being carried vertically on a specially designed train car for automobile transport. This innovative technique allowed more vehicles to be loaded per trip, optimizing space and reducing logistical costs. In 1971, a Futuro house was photographed being transported through the town of Todmorden in Yorkshire, England. The Futuro house was a futuristic, oval-shaped home designed by the Finnish architect. In 1967, American Airlines flight attendants were photographed as part of an advertising campaign by the airline. The image reflected the style and standards of commercial aviation at the time, highlighting elegant uniforms. In 1937, photographer Jimmy Syme captured the image known as Toffs and Tufts, which became a symbol of social differences in Britain before World War II. The Mercedes W1-25 record wagon race car was displayed in the Germany pavilion at the 1937 Paris World's Fair. It was designed to reach very high speeds. Between 1979 and April 1980, a woman was photographed beside a car in the region then known as Rhodesia in southern Africa. She wore a t-shirt reading, "I'm staying, what about you?" reflecting the social and political atmosphere during the transition to what would become present-day Zimbabwe. On June 5, 1946, Jimmy Carter graduated from the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. At the ceremony, his fiancée, Rosalind Smith, and his mother helped him adjust his graduation uniform. In 1969, actress Lana Wood was photographed beside a cheetah in a setting that combined elements of entertainment and the lifestyle of that era. Known for her career in film and television, Lana was among a group of popular artists in the 1960s. In 1914, somewhere in Mexican territory, a woman dressed in military uniform was photographed looking directly at the camera moments before boarding a train. The image highlights female presence in organized actions during a period of significant social and political change in the country. In 1916, on the Gallipoli Peninsula, a group of Australian soldiers was photographed next to a man wearing camouflage designed to resemble the local vegetation. In 1938, children were photographed in front of the world's largest log cabin in Portland, Oregon, United States. The structure was built in 1905 for the Lewis and Clark International Exposition and became a city landmark due to its impressive size. In the early 1900s, a tambourine vendor was photographed on the streets of Naples, Italy. He carried the traditional instruments skillfully, offering them to residents and visitors of the city. In 1946, a group of university students was photographed having fun as they climbed together into a large decorative jar at the Summer Palace in Beijing, China. The Summer Palace is a famous complex of gardens, lakes, and historic buildings. In the 1960s, a skateboarder was photographed riding through Central Park in New York, United States. Skateboarding was beginning to gain popularity among young people as a form of leisure, creativity, and urban style. In 1941, during World War II, Australian lumberjacks were photographed using their axes as makeshift mirrors to shave. A man was photographed next to a punt gun, a large-bore weapon used for waterfowl hunting, especially ducks in eras before modern regulations. Around 1919, large stacks of lumber were photographed drying outdoors at the Seattle Cedar Lumber Manufacturing Company mill in Seattle, Washington, United States. In 1900, workers were photographed constructing a large wooden pipeline in Seattle, Washington, United States. This type of piping, known as a wood stave pipeline. In 1984, a ceremony was held to honor members of the French paratrooper forces in recognition of those who lost their lives during an operation in Lebanon. In the 1960s, women were photographed shopping in a market, a common everyday scene in many cities around the world. The shelves displayed a variety of products of the era, with packaging and brands characteristic of that period. In 1965, a family was photographed buying a television set, an item becoming increasingly common in homes worldwide. At that time, television was beginning to play a central role in home entertainment, with black and white broadcasts and, in some cases, the first color models. In 1921, an advertising campaign promoted the habit of eating a serving of ice cream every day with the slogan, "Have a bowl of ice cream every day." At that time, ice cream was portrayed not just as a dessert. In December 1961, a teacher was photographed reading to her students at Pleasant Park School in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. The scene captures a peaceful moment of classroom learning, with the children gathered around the educator, following along attentively. In the 1960s, Sophia Loren was already one of the most internationally recognized actresses, known for both her talent and her commanding screen presence. Born in Italy, she appeared in numerous notable productions, working with renowned directors and winning prestigious awards. In 1979, Wendy Carlos was photographed in her recording studio next to a modular synthesizer. She was a pioneer in the use of electronic instruments in music, known for her innovative work blending technology and classical composition. At just 11 years old, Warwick Davis was photographed taking a break during the filming of Return of the Jedi. Released in 1983, he played the character Wicket, one of the Ewoks featured in the final part of the original Star Wars trilogy. In 1959, a young woman was photographed smiling beside her pet cat while seated near a trench or outdoor passage. The scene conveys a peaceful, affectionate moment between the girl and the animal, possibly in a rural setting or a common excavation area of the time. In 1963, passengers were photographed reading their morning newspapers inside the New York City subway, United States. At that time, reading the newspaper during the commute was a common habit among workers and students who used public transportation daily. In 1958, circus performer Jimmy Armstrong was photographed during a rest between shows. Known for his work in traditional circuses, he was part of a generation of performers who traveled from city to city, entertaining audiences. In 1953, actress Jane Mansfield was photographed walking the streets of New York City alongside her daughter, Jane Marie. The image captures a relaxed family moment away from the studios and cameras, revealing the everyday life of a well-known film star. In the early 1950s, a young German woman was photographed roller skating alongside her boyfriend, who was part of the international forces stationed in Frankfurt, Germany. On July 15, 1944, some members of the United States forces were photographed making a toast in a small outdoor area resembling a sidewalk cafe in La Haye-du-Puys, France. In 1943, singer and actor Frank Sinatra was photographed alongside fans in a relaxed moment off stage. By that time, Sinatra was already one of the United States' most popular artists, known for his distinctive voice and great charisma. In 1939, John F. Kennedy was photographed at 22 years old. At that time, he was a young student and a member of a well-known family in the United States with significant involvement in public and political life. In 1970, a group of young students was photographed inside a subway train in New York City, United States. They wore school uniforms and appear relaxed, representing the style and attitude of urban youth of the time. In 1968, musician Bob Dylan was photographed alongside his wife, Sarah Dylan, and their daughter, Anna. The image captures a peaceful family moment during a period when Dylan was already recognized as a significant figure in music and contemporary culture. In the mid to late 1980s, a video rental store was photographed in a town in Spain. These establishments offered VHS tapes that customers could take home to watch. In 1951, actress Grace Kelly was photographed on the set of the film High Noon. a major American cinema production. In that project, Grace Kelly played one of the lead roles, marking the start of her successful Hollywood career. In 1942, workers were photographed assembling the Sears and Roebuck catalogs, one of the largest retail chains in the United States. These catalogs were widely distributed and allowed people from different regions to purchase products by mail order. Around 1929, a young Norma Jean, who would later become world famous as Marilyn Monroe, was photographed alongside her mother on a beach outing in the United States. In 1938, demonstrations of electric water baths designed to stimulate circulation were documented. These devices were part of popular treatments at the time aimed at physical well-being through techniques considered modern during that period. In 1930, workers were photographed dismantling the clock installed on the facade of the Daily Telegraph building in London, England. The building was set for renovations, which required the temporary removal of external elements like the traditional outdoor clock. In 1899, a woman was photographed drinking water from a communal cup at a public water pump. At that time, sharing utensils in public places was common before modern personal hygiene practices. In 1971, an advertisement promoted the exclusive executive class lounge aboard American Airlines Boeing 747 flights. The space offered comfort, special services, and a sophisticated environment for those traveling in one of the airline's premium classes. In the 1940s, a pilot was photographed walking with his arms intertwined with two flight attendants in front of a small airplane. The scene illustrates the friendly yet professional atmosphere of flight crews at the time, who were becoming recognized as an essential part of the air travel experience. Oster, the German Shepherd police dog, was photographed in a sidecar alongside Sergeant Ernst Müller of the Hamburg Police in Germany. The scene shows Oster equipped for patrol duty, accompanying the officer during routine activities in the vehicle specially adapted for the pair. If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, please use the Super Thanks tool below. Your contribution helps us keep bringing you amazing historical content. Thank you so much for your support, and see you in the next video.